We live in a world where comfort often lures us into complacency. We build walls of certainty around our minds, shielding ourselves from the unknown. Yet it is this very ignorance that binds us. To live with purpose, to transcend the mundane, we must destroy the chains of ignorance that keep us shackled to yesterday's understanding. The pursuit of knowledge is not just a pursuit of facts, it is the relentless quest to know oneself and the world around us. The greatest minds did not rest, for they understood that to stop learning is to begin dying. It is not the failure to know, but the refusal to learn that keeps us from our true potential. Embrace lifelong learning, for in this continuous journey, we not only master knowledge, but we also master ourselves. 1. The power of knowledge. Knowledge is not a mere accumulation of facts, nor is it something to flaunt in the face of others. True knowledge is a force, an internal compass that guides us through the stormy seas of life. It is a beacon in the darkness, an anchor that keeps us grounded when the world around us is in chaos. The power of knowledge lies not in its ability to impress or dominate, but in its capacity to liberate, to awaken us from the slumber of ignorance. We are born into a world brimming with uncertainty. From the moment we take our first breath, we are thrown into a sea of unknowns, and with each passing day, the questions multiply. What is the purpose of life? What is the nature of suffering? How do we find peace amidst the noise of the world? To stand at the crossroads of these questions and not seek the answers is to remain lost in the wilderness. The wise man knows that his journey is one of constant inquiry, that his life will never be defined by what he already knows, but by his relentless pursuit of what he has yet to understand. There is no end to learning, for every answer begets new questions. Each moment, each experience is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to deepen our understanding of the world and our place within it. To embrace knowledge is to embrace the very essence of life itself. It is to live with purpose, to engage with the world with open eyes and an open heart, ready to receive the lessons it has to offer. Yet many of us are trapped in the illusion that we already know enough. We find comfort in the familiar, in the belief that we have reached the limits of our understanding. But this is a dangerous illusion. The moment we stop learning is the moment we start stagnating. It is in that very moment that we begin to wither, to become stagnant pools of water, offering nothing of value to ourselves or the world. We must shatter this illusion, for true wisdom is not something to be attained, but something to be cultivated, nurtured, and constantly sought after. The pursuit of knowledge demands humility. It demands that we acknowledge our ignorance, that we approach life not as if we already possess the answers, but as if we are always searching for them. This humility is the foundation upon which true growth is built. To know that there is always more to learn, that we are never finished, is to acknowledge the vastness of the universe and the boundless potential within ourselves. But knowledge is not a passive pursuit. It requires effort, discipline, and dedication. It requires that we question everything, challenge our assumptions, and remain open to new ideas, no matter how uncomfortable they may be. It is only through this active engagement with the world that we can truly grow and transform. Knowledge does not come to those who sit idly by, but to those who actively seek it, who hunger for truth, and who are willing to face the discomfort of the unknown. It is easy to become complacent, to settle for what we know, and stop pushing ourselves further. But this is the path of stagnation. True growth lies in the willingness to step into the unknown, to challenge our beliefs, and to confront the uncomfortable truths that lie just beyond the horizon of our understanding. This is where true power lies, in the courage to question, to explore, and to continue learning, no matter where life takes us. To embrace the power of knowledge is to commit to a life of constant growth. It is to walk the path of the eternal student, knowing that the more we learn, the more we realize how much we have yet to understand. It is a life of humility, of curiosity, and of endless exploration. And in this pursuit, we discover not only the world around us, but also the deepest truths within ourselves. 2. Wisdom as a virtue. Wisdom is not merely an intellectual pursuit. It is a virtue, an art of living that permeates every action, every decision, every interaction. It is the quiet force that shapes our character, the steady hand that guides us when the storms of life threaten to consume us. Wisdom is the ability to see the world clearly, to understand the nature of things as they truly are, and to act in accordance with that understanding. It is not something that can be attained overnight. It is cultivated over time, shaped by experience, reflection, and a willingness to confront the hard truths of life. The wise person does not act impulsively, driven by fleeting emotions or desires. Instead, wisdom allows them to step back and see beyond the immediate, to weigh the consequences of their actions before they take them. It is the ability to pause and reflect, to choose the right path, even when it is not the easiest or most convenient one. Wisdom is not about knowing the right answer in every situation, but about knowing how to approach life with discernment, humility, and patience. At its core, wisdom is a deep understanding of the impermanence of life. It is the recognition that all things change, that happiness, sorrow, success, and failure are temporary. The wise person does not cling to the fleeting moments of joy or wallow in the depths of despair, for they understand that both will pass in time. Instead, they approach life with equanimity, accepting the ebb and flow of existence with grace and composure. They do not seek to control the uncontrollable, but to align themselves with the natural order of things, to live in harmony with the world as it is. To cultivate wisdom, we must first cultivate self-awareness. We must be willing to look inward, to examine our own thoughts, emotions, and motivations. Wisdom cannot be found in the external world alone. It must begin within. We must ask ourselves difficult questions, confront our own biases and blind spots, and be honest with ourselves about our true nature. It is only through this process of introspection that we can begin to understand the deeper truths of life and align our actions with those truths. Wisdom also requires the courage to accept the unknown. The wise person does not pretend to have all the answers, nor do they fear uncertainty. They understand that life is full of mystery, that there are things beyond our comprehension, and that this is not something to be feared, but something to embrace. It is in this acceptance of the unknown that we find freedom. The freedom to live without the need for control, the freedom to flow with life instead of fighting against it. To be wise is to be humble. It is to recognize that no matter how much we learn, there is always more to discover, that our understanding of the world is always limited by the confines of our own experience. The wise person is not driven by ego or pride, but by a deep respect for the knowledge that lies beyond them. They are willing to learn from others, to listen to those who have walked the path before them, and to embrace the wisdom of those who may not have the same experiences, but who possess a deeper understanding of the world. Wisdom is also an embodiment of patience. It is the ability to wait, to observe, and to trust that everything unfolds in its own time. The wise person does not rush through life, seeking instant gratification or quick results. Instead, they understand that true growth takes time, that the seeds of wisdom are planted in the soil of experience and nurtured by reflection and understanding. Patience is not simply waiting for something to happen. It is an active process of trusting the journey, of allowing life to unfold without forcing it. As we continue on our journey to embrace wisdom, we must remember that it is a lifelong pursuit. There is no end to learning, no final destination where we can say, "I have arrived." Wisdom is not a goal to be reached, but a path to be walked, one step at a time. It requires a constant commitment to growth, to learning from our mistakes, and to evolving into the best version of ourselves. And while we may never reach perfection, it is in the pursuit of wisdom that we find our true strength, our true purpose. In the end, wisdom is not about knowing everything. It is about understanding what truly matters, about seeing the world through a lens of clarity and compassion. It is about living a life of integrity, guided by the principles of justice, humility, and self-awareness. To be wise is to live with intention, to make decisions that are rooted in truth, and to act in ways that reflect the highest ideals of humanity. And in this, we find not only peace and fulfillment, but the deepest sense of meaning. 3. The chains of ignorance. Ignorance is a silent tyrant. It binds us not with visible chains, but with invisible walls that limit our growth, our potential, and our understanding of the world. It is easy to fall into the trap of thinking we know enough, that we've learned all we need to know about life, about ourselves, about others. But ignorance is not merely the absence of knowledge, it is the refusal to acknowledge that there is always more to discover, always deeper layers to uncover. The chains of ignorance often appear in the most insidious of ways. They are the comfortable assumptions we make about the world, the judgments we pass without considering the full picture, the stereotypes we cling to out of fear or laziness. Ignorance thrives in these dark corners of the mind, keeping us safe in our limited understanding, while preventing us from breaking free and seeing things as they truly are. But the cost of ignorance is great. It keeps us from reaching our fullest potential, from becoming the people we are capable of being. It closes the door to new experiences, to deeper insights, to profound transformations. To live in ignorance is to live in a state of stagnation. It is to be trapped in a prison of our own making, one that prevents us from evolving, from challenging our beliefs, and from growing into wiser, more compassionate individuals. When we are ignorant, we are blind. We see only the surface of things, unable to grasp the deeper truths that lie beneath. We make decisions based on incomplete information, and we act according to biases and misconceptions, never fully understanding the impact of our choices. This is why the pursuit of knowledge is so essential. It is the antidote to ignorance. It is the key that unlocks the door to a fuller, more meaningful life. Ignorance is not something that we can simply overcome once and for all. It is a constant battle, one that we must fight every day. It requires us to be vigilant, to question our assumptions, to challenge the ideas we hold dear, and to remain open to new information. We must never become complacent in our knowledge, for the moment we stop questioning, stop seeking, stop learning, we begin to slide back into the chains of ignorance. One of the greatest dangers of ignorance is the way it blinds us to our own limitations. We become so convinced of our own understanding that we fail to see the areas in which we still need to grow. We stop listening to others, stop seeking advice, and stop considering alternative perspectives. This self-imposed ignorance is a quiet poison, one that slowly erodes our ability to learn, adapt, and improve. To free ourselves from these chains, we must cultivate the courage to confront our ignorance head-on. We must recognize that there is always more to learn, always more to discover. We must be willing to face the uncomfortable truth that we do not have all the answers, and that is perfectly fine. In fact, it is in this recognition of our ignorance that we begin to unlock our true potential. For when we embrace the unknown, we open ourselves up to the infinite possibilities that life has to offer. Ignorance is not an enemy that we must fight with force. It is a condition that we must outgrow through conscious effort. By making the choice every day to seek knowledge, to ask questions, and to listen. It is in this ongoing pursuit of learning that we gradually dismantle the walls that ignorance has built around us. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Each new truth we discover is a key that unlocks another part of our potential. The chains of ignorance are not permanent. They can be shattered piece by piece, as long as we remain committed to the pursuit of truth. But it is a lifelong journey. The more we learn, the more we realize how much there is still to understand. And that is the beauty of it. For in this endless pursuit, we find meaning, we find growth, and we find the freedom to live authentically and purposefully. Do not let ignorance keep you captive. Recognize it for what it is, a prison of the mind that you have the power to break free from. Step into the light of knowledge, embrace the discomfort of the unknown, and let the chains of ignorance fall away. In doing so, you will not only free yourself, you will free your potential and live a life of true meaning and wisdom. 4. The unseen battle. The greatest battles are not fought on the battlefield, nor are they won with the strength of our muscles or the power of our weapons. The true struggle lies within, in the quiet, unseen conflict that rages in the depths of our own minds. It is here, in the recesses of our thoughts and emotions, that the real fight takes place. The battle between who we are and who we can become. The war between our lower impulses and our higher aspirations. We often look outward, blaming external circumstances or other people for the challenges we face. We see the world as the source of our suffering, as the enemy that must be defeated. But the truth is, the real enemy is not out there. It is within us. It is our own ignorance, our own fears, our own desires, and our own lack of discipline that stand between us and the life we are capable of living. The world may challenge us, but it is our inner responses to those challenges that define who we truly are. The unseen battle is the struggle for self-mastery. It is the fight to control our thoughts, to rise above our negative emotions, to act in ways that are aligned with our highest values, even when everything within us screams otherwise. It is easy to blame our circumstances, to say that we are victims of our environment, but this is the path of the weak. The strong, the wise, the stoic know that true strength comes not from controlling the world around them, but from mastering themselves. This battle is fought in moments of silence, when no one is watching. It is fought in the decisions we make when faced with temptation, in the way we choose to respond to adversity, in the way we handle our emotions when anger or fear rises within us. It is fought every time we make a choice that reflects our highest self rather than our lowest instincts. Every day we face this inner conflict. It is not a battle that has a clear winner or loser, but a continuous series of small skirmishes that define the trajectory of our lives. Each moment is an opportunity to choose who we will be. Will we give in to the urges of our ego, to the desires of our fleeting emotions, or will we rise above them, choosing the path of wisdom, patience, and integrity? The decision is ours, and it is made in every single action we take. To be aware of this unseen battle is the first step toward victory. Many people go through life unaware of the constant war raging within them, blindly following their impulses, reacting to their emotions without thought. They are slaves to their own minds, never realizing that they have the power to break free from this cycle. But awareness is not enough. The true warrior does not simply recognize the battle, they engage in it with deliberate intention, with the full force of their will. This is where the power of discipline comes in. The unseen battle is won not by strength alone, but by the strength of character. The ability to do what must be done, even when it is difficult, even when it requires sacrifice. Discipline is the tool that allows us to act in alignment with our values, regardless of the distractions or temptations that may arise. It is the force that keeps us on course when the winds of desire threaten to blow us off track. But discipline does not come easily. It requires practice, persistence, and a willingness to face the discomfort of growth. It is much easier to give in to laziness, to procrastinate, to indulge in distractions. But every time we give in to these temptations, we weaken ourselves. We allow the unseen battle to be won by our lower nature, and we become further enslaved by our own weaknesses. True freedom comes when we take control of ourselves, when we learn to say no to what is easy and yes to what is right. This battle is also a battle of perspective. The way we view the world shapes how we respond to it. When we view challenges as obstacles to our happiness, we are bound to react with frustration, anger, or despair. But when we view them as opportunities for growth, as stepping stones on the path to wisdom, we begin to transform our relationship with life itself. The wise person does not see difficulties as enemies to be defeated, but as lessons to be learned, as tests of their resilience and character. Every person faces this unseen battle, but not everyone is aware of it, and not everyone engages in it with purpose. The difference between those who live a life of wisdom and those who live in the grip of their impulses lies in their ability to confront this inner struggle with clarity and resolve. It is easy to be swept away by the tides of emotion, to react without thought, to let our fears and desires control us. But this is the path of the weak. The strong, the wise, the stoic understand that the real victory lies in mastering themselves, in facing their own darkness with courage, and in choosing the light of wisdom every time. The unseen battle is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. It is the process through which we grow, through which we become the best versions of ourselves. Each time we choose to act with integrity, each time we rise above our impulses, we move closer to the person we are meant to be. This is the true path of strength, and it is the only path that leads to lasting peace. Remember, the real enemy is not the world around you, but the ignorance, the fears, and the desires within you. The battle is yours to win, not through force, but through mastery over yourself. And every day, you have the power to decide who you will be in this unseen war. Will you be a prisoner of your own mind, or will you rise as the master of your fate? 5. The discipline of consistency. Greatness is not born from grand, sporadic acts of brilliance. It is forged through the small, consistent choices we make, day in and day out. The road to mastery, to wisdom, to living a life of purpose is paved with the stones of discipline and consistency. It is easy to get excited about a new idea, to make lofty promises to ourselves about the future. But the true measure of our character is not in the passion we have at the start of a journey, but in our ability to persist through the inevitable challenges, the mundane routines, and the slow progress that comes with time. Consistency is the secret to any lasting success. It is the quiet force that propels us forward, even when the excitement fades, even when the world tells us it's easier to quit. The most successful people in any field are not necessarily the most talented, the most gifted, or the most inspired. They are simply the ones who have kept showing up, day after day, relentlessly committed to their goals. They understand that it is not the bursts of brilliance that matter, but the steady, disciplined efforts that compound over time. Consistency is the ultimate expression of self-mastery. To be consistent is to have control over our impulses, our desires, and our distractions. It is the ability to do the things we must do, even when we don't feel like doing them. It is in these moments, when we are tired, when we are discouraged, when the path ahead seems uncertain, that the true strength of our character is revealed. It is in these moments that the seeds of greatness are sown. But consistency is not about mindlessly going through the motions. It is not about following a rigid routine without thought or purpose. True consistency requires intentionality. It means showing up each day with a sense of purpose, a clear understanding of why we are doing what we are doing, and the patience to know that the results will not be immediate. It is the commitment to the process, to the long-term journey, even when the fruits of our labor are not yet visible. To embrace the discipline of consistency is to accept that there will be times when progress feels slow, when the work seems endless, and when the rewards seem distant. But it is in these moments that we must remind ourselves that consistency is not about immediate results. It is about building a foundation, one small action at a time. Each small effort, each small step forward is part of a much larger process, and it is this gradual, consistent progress that ultimately leads to transformation. Many people give up too soon because they fail to see the power of small, incremental growth. They become discouraged when they don't see immediate results, and they abandon their goals before they've had a chance to truly take root. But the truth is, greatness is built through the consistent application of effort, no matter how small. It is in the quiet, steady work that the greatest changes happen. Discipline is the bridge between our intentions and our actions. It is what allows us to stay focused, to remain committed to our purpose, even when distractions arise. In a world full of noise, where instant gratification is always within reach, the discipline of consistency is a rare and powerful virtue. It is a commitment to long-term growth, to personal excellence, and to the pursuit of something greater than immediate pleasure or comfort. But consistency is not just about effort, it is also about resilience. The road to any meaningful goal is rarely smooth, and there will be obstacles, setbacks, and failures along the way. The true test of our consistency is not in the ease of our journey, but in our ability to rise after we fall, to keep moving forward when things get tough, and to maintain our commitment even when the path ahead is unclear. The disciplined person does not allow failure to stop them. They see it as an opportunity to learn, to adjust, and to keep going. It is also important to recognize that consistency is not synonymous with perfection. We will stumble. We will have days when we fall short of our expectations, but the disciplined person does not let these moments of imperfection define them. They understand that consistency is about showing up day after day, regardless of the circumstances. It is about getting back up after each failure, continuing the work, and trusting that each small effort is adding up over time. Consistency is also about finding balance. It is easy to get caught up in the pursuit of success, to push ourselves to the limit, to work tirelessly without pause. But true discipline is about knowing when to rest, when to reflect, and when to recharge. It is not about burning out. It is about sustaining effort over the long term. In this, consistency requires not only action, but wisdom. The power of consistency lies in its simplicity. It is the ability to do the work, to stay true to our commitments, and to trust that, over time, the results will come. Success is not a result of a single extraordinary action, but of countless small actions performed consistently, day after day, with patience and perseverance. To embrace consistency is to embrace the process. It is to commit to the journey, knowing that it will not always be easy, but that the rewards of discipline are far greater than the fleeting satisfaction of shortcuts or quick fixes. It is to trust that through consistent effort, we will grow, we will improve, and we will ultimately become the people we are meant to be. And when we look back on the long road we've traveled, we will see that the true measure of our success was not in the destination, but in the consistency with which we pursued it.